look, it's hard to lose that way, but I'm proud of those guys in there. I'm proud of the staff, and you know, we did some really good things this year, and ultimately we improved, which was the name of the game. Um, you know, I think unfortunately you got to live that uh, to really understand why you're in this business, and that's what it's for: playoffs, NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, and now your eyes are open. And our guys' eyes are open, and this should be the ultimate motivation to push forward, and it will be for us. It will be. So, um, you know, we'll learn and move on. I think it's everything. I think it's players and coaches. I think it's you know you got to continue to get better, create more competition on the roster, and then in the coaches too. It's got to be, you got to make sure that you have the right staff and that they all work well together, and um, that it's a high level staff, with high level players. It's important, and it's one thing to, you learn a lot about players when you're 0 and 10, which I talked about. You also learn a lot when you're in an MC championship game, and everything's the stakes are a lot higher, and you get in those type of games, and we all learn. I think the whole point was to create a core that had certain standards. Obviously they got to be good players, and we have that. But they got to be a certain way, and there's got to be a certain mindset and a certain identity, and we have that with our core. And we got to add pieces that are like-minded. We got to add more talent, more competition that thinks the same way that group of guys in that locker room does. And it's non-negotiable if it's not. There's no level of talent that is worth bringing something that doesn't fit what we're about in there. Um, and so that's very important. But as far as, look, we'll talk about that when we got to start all over. Yeah, we have the foundation. There's things that we won't have to start all the way from scratch, but man, there's got to be that hunger. There's got to be that work. There's got to be that attention to detail. There's got to be that urgency. And in that regard, you're starting all over again. And if you don't, you think you're just going to walk out there because you went to the NFC Championship game, you got another thing coming. That's how you become average in a hurry. And they'll know that, they understand that, and as we get to next year, that'll be the message. I think there again, it was. This is what you hear about all the time with catastrophes. It doesn't take one or two; it takes 12 things to go wrong, and we did all 12 of those wrong in all three phases. And ultimately, where we've been so good, when one area is struggling a little bit, the other two pick them up. We've been really good about that, and that was the game in the second half where all three phases we were not good, and we continued to make mistake after mistake after mistake in all three phases, and when that happens, that's where a game like that against a very good opponent, their guys showed up, man. Pretty showed up and critical. McCaffrey, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, Bosa, Warner, um, and so, I think if anything, it's just a reminder. Until you're in there, you understand this is the most critical play of the game, and it's play 4 of the game, or it's play 30 of the game. This is the most important, and you know, and so I just think you have to be in that moment. You have to be on the road, that environment, and you got to find a way to dig yourself out, which we've done a really good job of.